djlittlerock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What Studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? djlittlerock.com. One more time. djlittlerock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you can have me at your next event. You know, I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. May I entertain you, please? May I be an extension of your party, your wedding, your corporate event, your birthday, your anniversary? May I be a part of that, please? You know, I enjoy playing for the folks, being an extension of you, as that's exactly what I am. I send you the music requests, the planning forms, the event timeline, and we go over that step by step if you'd like. You know, I can always press event plan 1A on my mental Rolodex of music and give you a pretty good show, but I want it to be your show. I always want it to be your show. So that's why we get together, you know, even on the phone, or on this, you know, new age where we can see each other on Skype or Zoom. Yeah, we could do that. We could FaceTime and we can go over your event and make sure that it's the best. It's the more you plan, the better I am. I've said that so many times over the years. The more you plan, the better I am. In fact, I have a wedding this weekend. They have planned to the T. Wonderfully. It's going to be a good time. I'm so excited that weddings are coming back. I know, we're taking care of each other. Wear a mask while you're walking around. Wear a mask while you're interacting with people. But, you know, while you're sitting down having your drinks and having your food, you can take the mask down, okay? Just trying to minimize the spread of this thing. Who knows? Is it bad? Is it getting better? Is it worse? Are the scientists just about there? I know I've read over the last few days that people are claiming 90% effectiveness on the various companies. Yeah, Russia's claiming 95%. Could that be them just trying to be that much better? Well, hey, I hope it's working out. I know that, some scientists have said we're not going to have a cure possibly forever, because, look at some diseases. AIDS still doesn't have a cure. There's no cure for the common cold. I think there's conspiracy theories on that. Is there a cure for the common cold? I know there's cures for the symptoms. You can treat the symptoms. I just hope this COVID thing gets done real quick and then we get back to normal. Just like, I guess the 1918, they always go back to the Spanish flu of 1918. By the 20s, hey, it was the roaring 20s. So who knows, maybe in another year, we'll show some kind of a resurgence of life in America. Just a fun time. So I'm looking forward to more fun times. The people need to have some fun. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. I've heard that before. And my name's not even Jack. But yeah, the people need to have some fun. Have some fun. Do something you like today. Don't get I know. Oh, what was another morbid thing on your deathbed? There's rarely a time when somebody is going to say, "Hey, I wish I'd worked one more day. I wish I would have worked a few more hours and stayed away from my family. Yeah, I wish I would have worked some more." No. Most people would like some more family time, more time to do the things that they want to do. Yeah. So do something that you want to do today. And if you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. And if you want to watch me stream games online, you could do that too. I'll probably do some of that a little bit later, maybe in the next half hour or so. If you're listening to this live, I'm recording this live on my Facebook stream, YouTube, and Twitch. So you could find me there using Keys Dan. That's pretty, the hashtag What Makes You Smarter. You can find me all over. All right, and then the Keys Dan streaming is hashtag Keys Dan. Oh, I'm sorry, the gaming, hashtag Keys Dan Gaming. And you can find me on Twitch and Facebook Gaming. Now, on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for Thursday, November 12th, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1, U.S. reports record 145,835 new coronavirus cases. The United States reported 145,835 new coronavirus cases on Wednesday, the latest in a series of all-time highs, according to data compiled by the Washington Post. Hospitalizations also have hit a record. The U.S. now has more than 10.3 million total infections and 240,000 fatalities. New York State will impose a 10 p.m. curfew for most bars and restaurants and will limit private gatherings to 10 people to fight soaring coronavirus infections and hospitalizations, Governor Andrew Cuomo said Wednesday. Cuomo, a Democrat, said gyms will have to close at 10 p.m. too. The restrictions take effect Friday. The limit on size of gatherings in homes could disrupt families' plans for Thanksgiving just 2 weeks away. Cuomo said the state would, quote, turn the valve more, end quote, if the numbers don't go down. This is according to the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal. Number 2. Biden names Ron Klain as White House Chief of Staff. President-elect Joe Biden began establishing his administration's senior leadership on Wednesday, naming longtime confident and Democratic operative Ron Klain as his White House Chief of Staff. Klain served as Biden's Chief of Staff when he was Vice President and first worked for Biden in 1989 when he was one of Delaware's senators. Biden said in a statement that Klain was an, quote, invaluable, end quote, advisor who worked with him during the 2009 economic crisis and the 2014 Ebola outbreak. Also on Wednesday, Biden had his first calls since the election with the leaders of Japan, South Korea, and Australia. The 3 U.S. allies reportedly reaffirmed plans for close ties with the president-elect on such issues as climate change and security. This is according to the New York Times and Reuters. Number 3, Georgia to recount presidential votes by hand. Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announced Wednesday that officials would conduct a hand recount of the millions of ballots cast in the state last week's presidential election. President-elect Joe Biden leads President Trump by more than 14,000 votes in Georgia out of millions cast, a narrow enough margin to trigger a recount. Quote, with the margin being so close, it will require a full by-hand recount in each county, end quote, Raffensperger, a Republican, said in an Atlanta news conference. Quote, this will help build confidence, end quote. Raffensperger previously said that a recount was, quote, unlikely, end quote, to reverse Biden's lead. Biden is now up by more than 50,000 votes, or 0.7% in Pennsylvania, enough to avoid an automatic recount. This is according to CNN and Cook Political Reports. Number 4, Republican Senator Dan Sullivan reelected in Alaska. Senator Dan Sullivan, Republican, was projected the winner of last week's Senate election in Alaska on Wednesday, giving the Republicans their 50th seat in the next Congress. Sullivan beat Al Gross, an independent backed by National Democrats. The outcome confirms that Georgia's 2 January 5th Senate runoffs will decide which party will control the upper chamber. If Republicans win either of those races, they will hold on to a narrow majority. Democratic challengers John Ossoff and Reverend Raphael Warnock must beat incumbent Republicans Senators David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler to split the Senate 50-50, with Vice President-elect Kamala Harris breaking any ties that would give Democrats control. In the presidential election, President Trump was projected the winner in Alaska. This is according to The Hill. Number 5, CDC Masks. CDC Masks protect wearer as well as others. Mask wearing has been encouraged and even mandated through the last several months of the COVID-19 pandemic, with experts saying wearing masks helps protect people around you. But the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention announced Wednesday that masks also help protect their wearers, citing studies that show the benefits of universal masking. The updated recommendation comes as coronavirus hospitalizations in the U.S. reached an all-time high on Tuesday, hitting 61,694. The U.S. also reported more than 145,000 new COVID-19 cases on Wednesday, reaching another new record high. Coronavirus cases were largely contained in major East Coast cities early in the pandemic, but are now surging across the U.S. and affecting hospitals in the West and Midwest. This is according to the Washington Post and NPR. Number 6, more Republicans urge Trump administration to let transition start. A growing group of Republican senators is urging the Trump administration to stop blocking the presidential transition process, including allowing President-elect Joe Biden to receive the classified President's Daily Brief Intelligence Report. Quote, "If that's not occurring by Friday, I will step in," end quote, and, quote, "push them and say this needs to occur," end quote, so that, quote, "whichever way that it goes," end quote, "the government is prepared to serve." Senator James Langford, Republican Oklahoma, told Tulsa's KRMG radio on Wednesday. Senators Marco Rubio, Republican Florida, Mike Rounds, Republican South Dakota, and Mitt Romney, Republican Utah, made similar statements Tuesday. And Senator Pat Toomey, Republican Pennsylvania, told a Pittsburgh TV station Monday night the transition process should begin despite Trump's ongoing election challenges because, quote, "we're on a path. It looks likely Joe Biden is going to be the next president of the United States," end quote. This is according to the New York Times and NBC News. Number 7, Biden, Trump lay wreaths to honor veterans. President-elect Joe Biden marked Veterans Day on Wednesday with a stop to lay a wreath at the Korean War Memorial in Philadelphia. Quote, "Today we honor the service of those who have worn the uniform of the armed forces of the United States," end quote. Biden tweeted, quote, "To our proud veterans, I will be a commander-in-chief who respects your sacrifice, understands your service, and will never betray the values you fought so bravely to defend," end quote. President Trump visited Arlington National Cemetery. It was Trump's first appearance in days, as he continued to refuse to concede last week's election to Biden, who has locked up more than enough electoral votes to win. Trump made no remarks after laying a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier. This is according to Fox News and NBC News. Number 8, Tropical Storm Eta makes latest landfall in Florida. Tropical Storm Eta briefly regained hurricane strength in the Gulf of Mexico on Wednesday before weakening ahead of the storm's fourth landfall Thursday morning near Cedar Key on the west coast of Florida. A warning of potentially life-threatening storm surge was in effect from the middle of Longboat Key to Suwannee River, Florida, including Tampa Bay. The storm had top sustained winds of 50 miles per hour. Eta was expected to weaken further as it moves across the state and into the Atlantic by Wednesday afternoon. Eta meandered around the Gulf for several days after hitting the Florida Keys. Previously, it crossed Cuba after smashing into Nicaragua as a powerful hurricane, killing dozens of people in Central America. This is according to the National Hurricane Center and CNN. Number 9, NASDAQ surges in shift back to stay-at-home stocks. The NASDAQ surged more than 2% higher on Wednesday. The gains for the tech-heavy index came as so-called stay-at-home stocks such as Microsoft and Netflix, rebounded after new coronavirus cases continued to set records, dimming optimism stoked by positive news on the COVID-19 vaccines and treatments earlier in the week. Amazon and Apple gained more than 3%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average edged down by less than 0.1%. After several days of strong gains, and the S&P 500 rose by 0.8%. Futures for the Dow and S&P 500 were lower early Thursday, while those of the NASDAQ rose by 0.5%. Analysts said such swings could continue as investor attention shifts between strong earnings and concerns about renewed lockdowns. This is according to Reuters and CNBC. Number 10, Britney Spears loses bid to oust father from conservatorship. A Los Angeles judge declined Britney Spears' application to remove her father, James Spears, from the conservatorship of her estate. The pop star is looking to have her father removed as conservator, but Los Angeles Superior Court Judge Brenda Penny decided not to do so. Spears' attorney told the judge, quote, she is afraid of her father, end quote, and, quote, will not perform again, end quote, if he, quote, is in charge of her career, end quote. While Penny denied the application to remove James Spears from the conservatorship, she did name a corporate fiduciary as co-conservator like Spears wanted, and also made clear she would consider further petitions to remove James, quote, down the road, end quote. Attorneys for Spears' father reportedly said in court filings his, quote, sole motivation has been his unconditional love for his daughter, end quote. This is according to Variety and the New York Times. Don't mess with my Britney. That's 10 things you need to know today for Thursday, November 12th, 2020. Thank you so much for listening. This has been What Makes You Smarter. I'm Keys Dan, trying to fill my head with knowledge. And while we're at it, hey, I got the broadcast software. I'll speak into this mic. If you like the sound of my voice, come along on this journey with me. Why don't you? But don't make me the only source of news for you. Make sure you look up all the footnotes that I've put at the bottom of every news item, all 10 of those items that get curated for me every morning. And I read them at some point through the day. Whenever I get a chance. My goodness, life is busy. Life happens. I've been deemed an essential worker. So I get to work my day job. Thank you. Thankfully, I'm happy about that. But, hopefully you're doing well in this crazy, crazy time. I say crazy. I don't know if is that the right word to use in this interesting time, in this, you give me a better word. If you got a better word, let me know. Drop me some comments, because I really want to hear from you. I like hearing from people. If you'd like to tell your story or hear the stories of others, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. And if you want to watch me stream some games, I'll probably be streaming some games in the next few minutes. So if you'd like to do that, you can go to hashtag KeysDan Gaming. I'm on Twitch as KeysDan, and I'm on Facebook as KeysDan Gaming. Yeah, that's it for me. It's KeysDan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.